Good morning and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelly Bednar and I'll be your host for this episode of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break. The Tuesday Morning Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce costs, and enrich yourself, your team, and your business. We have another great show to share with you today, so we'd like to welcome our new viewers and welcome back to those of you joining us again. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day. So grab your cup of coffee or your favorite morning beverage and let's get started improving your profitability. Today we have with us an industry veteran, Don MacBrayne. Don is a 45-year veteran of the bowling industry with Brunswick as a started with Brunswick as a part-time counter control attendant and retiring as a VP of operations for Brunswick's XL brand. He is an owner of Performance Entertainment operating three 50,000 square foot bowling anchored FECs in Colorado under the Summit brand. Don, thank you for joining us this morning and sharing your insight with us for our audience.
It is a pleasure to be with you, Kelly.
I know you struggled trying when I asked you to, will you please come join us as a guest on the Tuesday Morning Profit Break? You said, what am I going to talk about? And I said, what's the biggest rock that you think you should talk about? And you came back with databases. I thought that was quite interesting. So how do you use your customer database?
Well, to us, the customer database is just so important because I personally think that it's the easiest, cheapest, and most effective method of staying in touch with customers. And in my view, you know, in the old days of bowling, we used to be able to just go lane to lane, and in 7 days we could tell everybody in the bowling center what was coming up in the next month. And today in the FEC world, where so much of our business is casual, where people come 2, 3, 4 times a year, we have to be able to connect with them so that we can stay top of mind in their decision as to where they're going to go and spend their hard-earned recreation dollars. So, and database, be it email or SMS, text messaging, is the easiest, fastest, and most effective way for us to keep top of mind with our guests.
How frequently do you send emails or texts and things of that nature?
Well, emails we send every week. So our email discipline is it goes out on Monday, and if a guest doesn't open it on Monday, well, they get another one on Thursday. And the format is you have to have a really strong subject line that's intense enough for them to click and open the email. And then we typically have a strong offer followed by a secondary offer in the email, followed by a message of some sort of upcoming event. We like to position our database as like a loyalty club so that when people, the encouragement for people to sign up is, yeah, they get a $10 game room card, but they get great information that is often not shared with anybody else. So like, for example, a special event of New Year's Eve party, we don't even have to promote that within the 4 walls. We go to the database and say, you know, this is an exclusive for our database operators. We're having these 5 New Year's Eve parties. The first one starts at 1, family event, blah, blah, blah. And we sell out our New Year's Eve parties just through our database, so it's really effective for us.
So you mentioned a loyalty club and like a membership e-club kind of a thing. Yeah. How do they sign up for that? Is that in-house, online?
So there's a number of ways. We get their data when they use our Wi-Fi. So as long as they put in their real email address, that gets them on our database. So I'm not a believer in giving in free Wi-Fi without them giving me just a little bit, just a little contact information would be nice. So that's one way. But the most effective way is over the counter. So the staff is trained. We set up for goals for the weekend, how many email how many email addresses we'll collect, and so we're, you know, 100, 200 a week in over-the-counter email addresses. So it gives us an opportunity to say to the guest, well, here's what you get, and not only the $10 game room card, but great offers that only go out to our database. So it's an encouragement, and we get a lot of people.
Okay, you've got me curiosity, just morbid curiosity. Were you willing to share how big is your database?
Well, we have 3 locations. Our total database is a little over 80,000 across the 3 locations. So we have one that's got 38,000, another one that's like 22, another one's 31 or something like that. And then we've got another 30,000 in the SMS text messaging database. So we got a lot.
That's a lot of people. How do you manage that database?
Well, segmenting the database is important, and so we ask them what they're interested in hearing from us. So if they're interested in bowling or family or game room or the next beer special, then we at least have that information so that we can parse the database a little bit and make sure that we're sending pertinent messages to those people. So that's helpful. But and then we purge the database once a year. We have to make sure that that if somebody hasn't opened an email for us in the last year, then we send them a strong offer. Maybe an hour free bowling. Hey, we miss you. Send them a secondary offer, and then we just take them off the list. You want to make sure that the database is purged and active. So you just, because you pay a little bit for storage. There's a little bit of money that you pay for storage in a database, and it goes up with the number of customers that you have.
Is that a lot of man hours to manage, or is that something managed fairly easily?
It's not a lot. We have one person that manages the database and manages all the messages, and I would guess that Mike probably spends in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 hours a week.
So that's not very much.
No, yeah, it's good.
So you mentioned in the opening that you do a lot of things. We used to be able to reach out to people because they're all bowling leagues. They're all there.
Right.
So now you're doing all these things. So what do you think that's doing for your business, doing all these reaching out?
Well, staying top of mind is really important. People can get out of the habit of coming to our places, and there's a lot of other distractions out there that has people's attention for their off-time activities. So we really have to stay top of mind. But in my business, I truly believe that it's worth an additional 15% of our revenue over and above what we would have done without a database. 15%.
That's a significant amount of money.
Yeah, it's significant. That's why, when you ask what would you like to talk about, I just think that the database is vital.
I think we could talk about databases all day because to me it's fascinating and how the depths and deeps of that. But just one final question. To me, you're a large organization. I could see how it's of value to you. Is it only for large organizations, or is there some value to a small organization?
No, if a significant amount of a person's business comes from casual play, and that's more and more and more in even the most traditional centers today, if a significant amount of business comes from casual play, a customer database is really, really vital. And it's not difficult to manage. Once you learn how to do it, it's really easy. Younger people manage it way better than older people. But we started, the first week we did it, we had 100 in our database. So it always starts with the first step. So it's going to start small, and just depending on how robust your guest flow is, you should want to have a certain percent of that in your database.
got to start somewhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Big or small.
That's right.
Well, Don, thank you for spending some time with us and talking about something you're passionate about, the database, and it's going to be of great value to a lot of our members. We thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure.
I'd encourage you to visit Don's website for all of his centers. It's at playatthesummit.com, and maybe even join their e-club. So as we wrap up another edition of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break, remember, when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next week at 10:15 Eastern for another great episode of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break. If you have any questions about today's show or would like additional information, you can reach us at any time at education@bpaa.com. Also, if you and your team want to watch our previous episodes, you can watch them 24/7 by visiting bowlinguniversity.net. Until then, I'm Kelly Bednar, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next week.